All right, Thrive Nation, here we are on part 8 of today's epic 8-part show. Derek, we started off today by interviewing Steve Lacheski. You know, anytime that you get a message from General Flynn, and General Flynn says you got to interview somebody, who are we to not interview Steve Lacheski?
We have to do it.
I look him up. Pretty soon I'm going, whoa, this is the guy that trained Russell Crowe, got him in tip-top shape for the movie Cinderella Man. Yeah. This is the guy working with the Mark Wahlberg film. What was the film?
Max Payne.
Max Payne.
And
this is the guy making the new film, the Deep Rig movie.
Yep.
I mean, it's just we started off with an epic. We started off with an epic guest, and we're going to end with an epic guest. Now, let me tell you about this guest. This man is a truth teller. He's a patriot, and he's a pastor. You see, it's freedom and faith. It's patriotism and prayer. You can't have God-given freedoms if you don't have God, and I'm super excited for all of our listeners to meet today's guest, Professor Toto. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show, sir. How are you?
I am wonderful. Hello, Clay Clark, a man that's helping change a whole nation. Good to talk to you.
Brother, where can people listen to your show? Where can people find you? What's the website? Where's your podcast? Because I know people, as soon as they hear your voice, they're going to want to go hear your show.
TOTOSARMY.com. If they'll go there, every link to everything we're doing is right there, Clay. TOTOSARMYOFPatriots.com.
TOTOSARMYOFPatriots.com. Now, right now, what is it that you are talking about on your show this week? I mean, what's the stuff you're talking about this week on your show that maybe our listeners would want to go check out?
Sure. Well, we're talking about the fifth column. We're talking about who actually won the American Revolution. We're talking about that secret band of soldiers that brought victory to the United States of America that nobody really knows about. And not one of them carried a gun. Not one of them carried a sword. Not one of them shed a drop of blood. But they're known as the fifth column. And they were the ones that England was more fearful of than any of our soldiers. And it was the men of God. It was the preachers, known as the Black-Robed Regiment. So this week we're talking about the fifth column that won the Revolutionary War, because most American patriots were scared to fight against the king. They had been taught that he was the anointed servant of God, and that they didn't believe that they could raise weapons against an unfair government. It was the preachers that the King of England said in his infamous remarks. He called them that, and he used a word that was not pretty, that blank, black-robed regiment. Because it was the preachers, it was the men of God that took a stand, that gave heart to the American people and told them that their battle was righteous and that it had righteous indignation with it. And so that's what we're talking about this week. That, and we're talking about another thing that won the Revolutionary War, and that war was won not with a weapon. It wasn't started with a weapon, but it was started with patriots that decided to hold their dollar bills and to spend it among themselves rather than with the enemy. And when those 4 ships pulled up into the Boston Harbor with $1.2 million worth of tea in today's dollars on that ship, they come to sell them to the Patriots. The Patriot refused to buy it. And this is what brought change to America, was Americans that took control of their own destiny by controlling their dollars. So that's what we're talking about this week.
And, you're a man who researches a lot. Where do you like to go to begin your research when you do a show like the one you're going to be doing here, talking about the events, the historical events that took place? Where do you like to go to do your research?
First of all, I make sure that my spiritual foundation aligns. I make sure that I can find what I'm looking for in the Word of God. So the Word of God is my foundation in all research. Mm-hmm. And then in my historical study, I have several sources that I go to make sure my facts are straight. And there's many of those that I go to. But primarily, I make sure that the message is right from the Word of God. So that's my foundation in all of my study.
So let's talk about your background for a second. Where did you come from? I mean, where before you became Professor Toto, the man that everybody knows, before you had the massive following, before the YouTube, before everybody, we got to know you and discovered your voice of choice, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a little town called Foxworth, Mississippi, and it's literally in the middle of nowhere in God's country. And then we migrated over to where I am now, which is Waveland, Mississippi, right outside of the big city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And so Mississippi and Louisiana are my home. Been here pretty much in these two states all my life. And before Professor Toto became an entity, I was just a little Mississippi preacher. I studied the Word of God. I was the youngest ordained preacher in America at 14 years old, and I started holding revivals all across the United States, and have just given my life to the Lord and dedicated my life to His service. Built my first church when I was 19.
Wow.
And then that's what I was doing, and 4 beautiful sons and an amazing wife, and so that's who I was, just a little Mississippi preacher that nobody had ever heard of. But I loved this nation, and I loved God, and I stayed faithful, sometimes preaching to 2 people in my congregation, and never, ever failing to show up and be faithful. And from that faithfulness, God has truly rewarded it.
How do you make an income? Like, what do you do? Do you do podcasts full time? Do you run the church full time? Do you have
no?
Entrepreneur?
I don't take a dime from the church. So I own a business. I've owned it. My family. It's an old family business. It's actually a food business. We've owned that for generations, and so my mother she passed that down to me, and so that's where our income comes from. And then we just do the church, but we don't take a salary from the church.
What kind of food?
Oh, steaks.
What?
Food. Steaks.
Steaks? Where?
Huh?
Where? What website?
Steaks.
Where?
All over the United States.
Where? What website? Where can we buy it? Steak? You said steak?
Yeah, steaks, meat, dead cows.
I like steak.
God's
Is there a
food.
website? Is there a
steak.
website for this?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
and that's where our family business comes from. Have you ever pulled up in a mall parking lot and saw these big huge tents that said ribeyes for sale?
Yes.
Okay, well that's ours. We got them all over the United States.
And is there a website for this stuff or no?
No, sir. I do that I do that on the sort of the download. Nobody even knows I own that business until now, and maybe a million people will know now.
Okay, so but it's a ribeye on the roadside. You set up, and how can people Google this to find more about this?
It would never work. They said it would never work, and we do. Oh Lord, multiplied millions in sales now. We just took an idea.
Hey,
One
listen,
day had an idea.
Listen.
And it turned into a multi-million-dollar business.
I want to buy from you. We want to buy from you. Where can we buy the steaks from you?
I'll hook you up. I will send some to you, and go feed the whole office.
I mean, seriously, can I buy stuff from you offline? Can I do that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely
yes.
will.
Yes.
We'll feed y'all.
Yes.
Man, this show just got really good. This show got great.
It just got lit.
Oh, absolutely. We'll hook you up, Clay.
Now you are really connected in the Patriot movement. There's a lot of wonderful Patriots that you're connected to, and it's exciting to see these networks grow and expand. Now, you came to the Health and Freedom Conference in Tulsa, correct?
That's correct. Oh, my Lord, did I ever. Yes, sir.
How would you
Phenomenal.
describe your experience there and maybe some of the connections that you made?
Yeah, I came there, to be honest with you, I hate to admit it, but I had never even heard of Clay Clark.
It's probably good for you.
Believe it or not. That's how far down in Mississippi I live,
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what to expect. I came because a friend of mine, we both know bona fide, he even paid my way, said, I want you to come. And so we came, and I was blown away, number one, by the massive unmuzzled crowd. That was it was mind-blowing. And then the Spirit of the Lord that was in that meeting was palatable. I mean, it was phenomenal. And then we met so many wonderful Patriots. Of course, many of them, I couldn't go 2 feet without somebody screaming, Professor Toto. We met so many of our friends that we have never met before, and it was just like a family reunion. That's the best way to describe
That's
it.
awesome.
And then you went from there. Did you come and join us in Anaheim? Or sorry,
Tampa,
in Tampa. I mean, Tampa, yeah.
If I would have, I would be divorced today because that was our family vacation week, and I was not allowed to go anywhere.
Got it. Now, will you be coming to Anaheim?
I'll be in Anaheim, yes, sir.
Now, I want to see if I can end. This is live here. We're doing this. We're going to edit this if we need to. But
Yep.
I'm saying I've never asked you this question ahead of time. Have I told you yet? Have you heard about the Podcasters Paradise I'm putting together in Anaheim?
No, sir.
Oh, check this out. This is going to be hot. I want to get your initial reaction to this. What I'm doing is I've assembled a list of who I believe to be the premier podcasters in the Patriot movement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Patriot Podcasters Paradise.
I love
So
it.
what I'm saying is, what if we had 40? Imagine it's like a Wu-Tang Clan concert. There's like 40 mics. Imagine though, seriously, there was 40 podcasters all in one place. All of the top Patriot podcasters in the same place.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Wouldn't that be amazing? The connections.
wow.
I mean, you
That would
guys
be
could
awesome.
swap connections for guests,
Yep.
advertisers,
Wow. Would that be
partners.
I'll tell you, that would be phenomenal. That would just be
PPP.
phenomenal.
I know you got to
And
check the calendar.
Would love it. People, Clay, the people are so connected. I can't even explain the connection that the podcasters have with their followers, for lack of a better word. There's a true connection. You got to realize, Mr. Clay Clark, we have stood together through some dark emotional turmoil.
Yeah.
We've been there at nighttime when these Patriots were crying themselves to sleep on. I mean, we've turned into a family. And so if you get that many people together with the Patriots, it's going to be absolutely an emotional experience.
Well, if you can help me on this a little bit, you're the first person I've asked directly this because I want to get the list assembled, and I just got off the phone with the Pastor Hotzenpiller from the Anaheim Church, the Influence Church in Anaheim, and I just got off the phone with him before we hopped in the studio, and I said, "Can we do it?" And he said, "What are we doing again?" I said, "We're doing the podcasters, the Patriot Podcaster Paradise." He said, "Well, what is it?" I said, 40 podcasters."
40.
All in one place. Now, is there a number, Shane, we should
That's
go
a
with?
prophetic number, by the way.
Tell me
Go
about the
ahead.
prophetic number. Should we do 40 or should we do a different number?
Hey, you may want to go to 50 and get Jubilee in there, because 40 is the number of trouble and tribulation.
Oh, well, so you might want to go to 50.
50.
Well, I'll
But,
tell you
hey,
what.
we could do it because we've all been through the trouble together. So 40 or 50, either one will work.
Well, I tell you what. Any of the people that are bona fide that you know, have them reach out to me. Just give out my cell phone number. Just boom, have them reach out to me, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the movement like a tidal wave that runs over me and spreads throughout the nation.
Yep.
Where it's just like,
Well, this would be one of your best moves to date, because now what you're doing is you're tapping into this unimaginable connection. When I tell you, Clay, I cannot walk through an airport without the squeals of Professor Toto, and it's not me. This is a connection that we all have. And I was just on vacation in Blue Ridge, Georgia last week.
yeah.
We are literally sitting on Apicola Road, which is literally in the middle of another word for nowhere. We're at a restaurant. There's a river. We're behind the restaurant. We're sitting on the river with our feet in the cold water running under our feet, me and my wife. Literally, I hear behind me, Professor Toto. People literally, they're everywhere, Clay.
Yep.
So if you pull this off, you're tapping into what it's going to take to catapult this. The connection is what's missing between the podcasters themselves. It's just like pastors of a church. When they join together, magnanimous things happen. And that's what I believe you're working on, because truthfully, each podcaster is the pastor of their own congregation,
There it
if you will.
is.
And this is a bringing together of those men to work together for the ultimate goal that we all have.
And I'm trying to kill that spirit of divisiveness.
Yes.
We're all on the same page.
It's got to go.
It has to go. Now, I want to. People say, "Well, Clay, who's your top sponsor?" I tell anybody who listens to this show. I say, literally, if you listen to the show, and I'm not, I don't hide it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you. I will tell you, the guy that I bought gold and silver from for a long time, Andrew Sorcini, is who we recommend.
Sneaks.
And people who are
Right.
podcasters, they reach out to me and they say, Clay, do you think you could connect me with your gold and silver guy, to be a sponsor of my
Right.
show? I say, yes. Here's his phone number. And people reach out to him, and boom, they land a new sponsor. They'll call me a month later going, hey, man, I had my biggest commission month ever. Yeah, because Andrew Sorcini is the top gold and silver buyer, the guy that I work with. I'm not
Right.
saying he's the best in
I
America.
believe
Maybe
I
other
connected
people.
with him as well in Tulsa. We've just not moved
Oh,
forward.
he
but we
will.
need to do that.
He will pay you. I will tell you. And by the way, if you're listening right now and you want to buy gold and silver, his phone number is 310-433-3524. 310-433-3524. That's 310-433-3524. Yeah, there you go. Tell him Toto sent you. 310-433-3524. No, that's great. Now, hey, educate me. Who are some of the podcasters that you feel like we should be inviting to this the Patriot Podcaster Paradise?
There's several. Of course, you already know Brad has a wonderful following.
What's Brad's show called?
Pastor Greg Locke, of course, you're already connected with him. And there's a few more that
What's
that
Brad's show
that I
called?
support.
What's Brad's show called?
Brad's show is called The Little Talk Show, LIL, the little, because he's just a good old country boy like me, and he calls it The Little Talk Show. And mine is the Conservative College, Professor Toto's Conservative College. So those he has a great show. Love Brad. He does a great work. And the problem, Clay, is this. As long as we're islands to ourselves, the enemy wins.
Yep.
We must unite. And that's why I've invited you on my show. I've invited Brad because this is not my movement. This is his movement. It's a patriotic cause for a great nation, America's first. And as we come together as one, we're all supporting America first. We're all supporting MAGA. We're not the stars of this show. There's one star, and we just help that star to shine. And that's what we need to keep in mind.
Now, for people out there that they want to learn more about you, what's your website one more time?
Toto's Army of Patriots. That's plural. Toto's with an S. armyofpatriots.com.
If people out there
and there's so much there that they can find everything we're doing there. The Patriot Buying Club, our nightly shows.
Hey, let's
we're
talk
live
about
every
that.
night from 8 to 9 Central. It's all right there.
Let's talk about the Patriot Buying Club for a second. What is the Patriot
I
Buying
love
Club?
that. Well, so 1 second, I'm going to throw it out there to where everybody can understand it. Whenever you want to make a change, when you want to make a difference, talk is good. Doing talk shows on YouTube is good. All of this is great. But insanity says we keep buying from the same people. We keep telling you we hate your message, but here's our dollars. We're just repeating an endless cycle. So I had a thought, I said, 1776, everybody talks about 1776. When I studied 1776, it brought me back to the Stamp Act, which is where America began to change. And then on to the Boston Tea Party. And then with the book called Common Sense that Thomas Paine wrote. All of this was my inspiration. And I just said, I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference. And so I told all of Toto's Army, that's what we call our friends around the nation. I said, look, I'm going to create a directory. I'm going to create some way for us to hold on to our money. And so we started piling together secretly hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of small patriotic mom and pop businesses. Maybe this one makes cookware. Maybe this one makes lotion. Everybody started sending me their businesses, and we've compiled what's called Toto's Directory. Now that directory is available on our TOTOSARMYOFPatriots.com. However, there was something missing. I needed a manufacturer that could help us compete with different places that, the big box retailers. And we had a hard time making that happen. It took me 7 months. But we finally partnered with a manufacturer, and we keep them safe from the cancel culture. We partnered with them with 400 products, your shampoo, your soap, your toothpaste, everything you could ever need, that you go down to Walmart or you go down to here and you give them your money. We put together the Patriot Buying Club. Now we have, in the last month, this is our first month, in the last month the numbers came in, and we're hitting right at $250,000 that we've taken away from the big box retailers in the first month.
Nice.
With just an untold number of people that have already enrolled. That's the Patriots Buying Club. We're trying to put our money where our mouth is. We're trying to make a difference. And so many great Patriots have made this happen for us.
And where can people go if they want to learn more about that? What's the website for that?
ByeByeWalmart.com.
Nice.
ByeByeWalmart.com. How do you spell bye-bye?
BYE. Bye-bye.
ByeByeWalmart.com.
Bye-bye, Walmart. Bye-bye.
Oh, I like that.
Bye-bye. And it's worked, Clay, you wouldn't believe the people. I can't even tell you, well over, over 1,000 just in this month that had enrolled. It's just phenomenal what God is doing with this club.
Well, I'm going to put a link to that on the show notes there. So this is a great way to...
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It's Walmart.com. BYE, Walmart.com. And this is a great way to team up with Patriots and to stop funding stop funding the deep state.
And listen, not only that, but if that manufacturer doesn't have everything you need, we have 800 Patriot-owned businesses in a directory. Let's just say you want to buy Mama something. You want to, you just want to buy some new cookware. We have a beautiful Amish family in Illinois. They are Patriots, and they make the most wonderful. It's almost like cast iron. It looks just like cast iron, and they've sent me all of their things. And so if you want cookware, we got it. You just, instead of going down to Best or Bed Bath and Beyond or wherever, you go here, you get on their website, you buy from them, you keep the money at home among these Patriots.
I love what you're doing there. Is there anything else you're working on right now that our listeners need to know about? You've got so much great information, so much great stuff. What else are you working on right now that the Patriots need to know about?
Well, every month, Clay, I travel across the nation doing what's called a Revival of the Republic rally. I have a message, Clay, that I brought. We've not talked about what made me semi-famous. I'm not famous, but whatever I am. I did a video, and that video had over 10 million views in 3 days. And that was our viral video about January the 6th, what would happen after November the 3rd. Nobody in America had talked about it. Nobody had mentioned on the day after the election that the election would be decided in the House of Representatives. I believe my video was the first one. That's why it went the way it did. Our channel is an education channel. And one of the biggest educations that we give here is what the Republic truly is. And this education will change this nation. I just finished writing my children's book called America 101. It's cartoon characters with Professor Toto all the way through it. And that book will be available at Toto's rally in September. But I can't advertise it because we don't have room for any more people. Thousands registered months ago, and we just don't have room. But that book will be available for your children, your grandchildren.
Wow.
This next election will be decided by 8th graders, Clay. 8th and 9th graders will decide the next presidential election. And we send our children to schools to be educated, and they tell them how to vote. So we're trying to create books to change a generation and teach them that a democracy is a dirty word, to teach them who we truly are, a republic, a land of law, not the will of the people or the will of the majority, but a rule of law. And I make a real simple illustration in all my books, and it really connects with people. You got 100 people in a room there, and 49 of them want ice cream, Clay. 49 people want homemade ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, the 50 people say, no, it's not good for you. We know better than you know. We're more woke than you are. We understand, but you don't need it. I know you want it, but you don't need it. And so those 50 people is a democracy. They rule the minority. A democracy is the most unequal form of government on earth. And so the 49 people are in trouble now because they're ruled by the mob. But somebody among those 49 people pulls out the Constitution or the law of the land, and they point to paragraph so-and-so that says, Americans have a right to eat ice cream. All of a sudden, the democracy was destroyed and the republic won the day. This education I take around the world, around the nation, every month. This month we'll be in Canton, Ohio, and it just so happens a day after President Trump's speech, and I'm only 100 miles away from him, but we planned it way before we knew he was coming. But so every month we're somewhere. So if anybody's listening, they're welcome to go to Toto's Army of Patriots and see our schedule. We're going to be everywhere doing these educational rallies. So that's some things we're working on.
It is just absolutely impressive, the work that you're doing, the energy you're putting into this. I'm a big fan, and I'm also a big. Some of our listeners, they know this. They say, "You watch out with that Clay Clark guy because he's what he's gonna do. He's gonna ask he's gonna bring up the same topic between 300 and 407 times on a show, and you can't escape the idea." Because I know how I learn. I learn by repetition. We all learn through repetition.
Yep.
And sometimes it's a thing where you hear something, oh, that's good, but what happens is there's just so much information coming at you. You're like, it's good. Thoughts gone. Thoughts gone. Thoughts gone. It was like, honey, what was that show about? Yeah, it was a good show overall. Whoa. So one more time, what's your website? Then I'll let you get back to saving America.
TOTOSARMYOFPatriots.com.
Come on.
And there's links there to all of our information.
Brother, I appreciate you so much for being here. You're a great American, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.
Clay, you're going to be with me tomorrow night. Everybody tune in and watch. We'll be live.
Hey, what time are we going live tomorrow night?
8 o'clock Central, sir.
Tomorrow night's going to be
a
thunder show because I'm on Lindell TV right before you're from 7 to 8, and then it's like the momentum, the mojo of Mike Lindell is going to carry over.
It's going to carry.
My head might explode. I'm excited, brother. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Clay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!